Good afternoon to all, and thank you to both United Nations and, of course, CCG for organizing this very important symposium, not only to assimilate this date, the 50th anniversary of China's, the restoration of China's lawful right at the UN nations, with a very strong support at that time by African nations. I come from an African country. I forgot to introduce myself, Tania Romualdo. I'm the ambassador of Cape Verde to China. And of course, tackling two very, very important issues that we are all facing, not only in Africa, but globally: sustainable development on one hand and climate change on the other. I only this morning learned about this symposium, and so I did not bring written intervention. But even so, I did not want to miss it, because coming from a small island state in development, Cape Verde, we are 10 little islands. Both topics are vital for us. We are working hard to develop the country more, of course, but always having into consideration the need of develop it in a sustainable way. We are looking at UN's Agenda 2030, at the same time also at the African Union's agenda for a development of the Africa that we want, we meaning African people, by 2063. So we have 3 more years than what's on one of the titles here, underlining 2030, 2060. I'm looking at my brief notes here. When we talk about sustainable development and climate change, as the previous speakers, UNDP, UNESCO, UN Women, UNICEF, and so on, underlined, Yes, we of course have to remember some challenges we all had to face during the last 2 years, since the outbreak of COVID and then its rapid spread in the world. I'm not going to repeat any of the statistics about the negative impact of COVID on our economies, global economies. But I want to underline one positive aspect. So COVID confined the world. Everyone was home. Factories were closed. It was all very negative and bad. As I mentioned, not going into these details. But there was one very positive aspect. The nature could recover. Somehow, this negative COVID and the employment that it brought and other challenges, for example, on women, of course, the biggest victims, not only in what comes to employment and their economic participation, but also facing domestic violence, children that could not attend school, and so on. But nature proved that if we take care of it, it can recover. So this, for me, is a positive impact. And by proving this, so we somehow, for those who had not yet understood it, it doesn't seem very logical, but until very recently, some people continue to say it's not a problem that we can solve, or it's not really that big of a problem. So now we had very, very clear proof, and it gives us the opportunity to start to work harder on the recovery of our planet and assuring that the future generations and our children, our grandchildren, have a better opportunity and the chance of survival, because that's what we are talking about here. Now, very quickly going through what our panel is looking at. Someone mentioned the celebration of milestones, but also the opportunity to look at the way forward, to engage youth. Beate spoke about UNDP, of course, the big challenges, climate change. The COP is now happening in Glasgow. Just a few weeks ago, we had another important COP, biodiversity, happening in China, in Kunming, and both, of course, very, very much related one to another. We cannot really draw lines between the various challenges that we have on the table. When I think it was also Beate, yes, mentioned the 2.7 degree catastrophe, especially, of course, for everyone, but especially for islands, and especially for those islands whose sea level is very low. They are not only facing problems with their economy because of the, for example, climate, the very severe weather conditions, but they are facing disappearing from the map. So this is very serious. It can't get any serious than that. And at COP26 now, those issues are being tackled maybe with a little bit more of awareness than they were during the previous COPs. President Xi Jinping just pledged for carbon neutrality at the recent General Assembly of the United Nations. We just looked at the need of the huge amounts of financing to prepare ourselves, I mean, as globally, to face all these problems that are now affecting us, and the need of more real direct investments in green development and a transition to a more green development. Basically, maybe I could, a brief comment on Ambassador Wang, who spoke about his experience in Guinea-Bissau, also a small country in Africa, same region as my own, West Africa, and they also have some islands. So part of our challenges are their challenges. We are now heading towards FOCAC 2021 in Dakar by the end of this month. Ambassador Ndiaye from Senegal, but also Ambassador Osman from the African Union mentioned this. And there is a big opportunity for us to work together as African nations with China, but of course also with the support of UN and its different agencies, because all of the issues that we spoke about here will be also on our FOCAC agenda. For the very first time in 2021, after 21 years of FOCAC, we will finally have a paragraph dedicated to women and equality. It was not there yet. There was only one sentence, one simple sentence, the one where we spoke about the people-to-people exchanges, and this sentence ends with women and youth. But that was it. There was no further development, no mention in the action plan. And so this year, finally, and we are very happy about it, we will also have this issue on our FOCAC documents, outcome documents. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.